Today is January 31st, 2024. It's just before noon, and I'm in zone 7B. I think that they're wrong. I think it's 7A. We have already gotten 3 degrees Fahrenheit, and today is a very warm day. Today we're in the 40s, and it's sunny, and it's probably going to get warmer than that. So far, every single one of these hives have survived. These hives are pretty good because they survived another pesticide kill, and there's the remaining ones that didn't survive. These are polystyrene lids. And here's what happens when they die. You get waxworm moth damage. They make a little caterpillar that bores into the styrene and the wood, and it just eats up your hives, or they're not usable anymore. So you don't just lose the colony, you lose the whole beehive. And they do that so they can pupate. And then the hive beetles, they go inside the ground and they pupate, and then they come back up by the thousands, and then they invade your hives that are healthy. And if you want to prevent a lot more damage to your polystyrene lids or hives, if you can paint the inside of them like that, and they last much longer, and ants don't bore in as fast. I have problems with some little tiny sugar ants. They like to live within the hives, and they really love polystyrene because they can bore into it. They can't do that with the wood. So I got some hives that I've had to paint to drown out the ants. And you'll see that I got polystyrene hive tops on almost all of my hives. Actually, I do on all these hives. And the reason is because it gets 105 Fahrenheit in the summer. It can get that, and does. And sometimes 100 degrees for a couple of weeks. But meanwhile, in the wintertime, it gets extremely cold, like 3 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in Celsius, but that's way below 0 in Celsius. Anyhow, the bees are doing good, and I'm using 1/2-inch screen wire mouse guards, and the bees aren't hindered by them, and they're doing fine, and I haven't had any mice problems. I'm feeding Ultra Bee pollen substitute right now all winter, and every warm day that they can find to come out and get it. They've been cooped up for about a few weeks now, and now today they're out enjoying their food and their free flight. They're really loving it. I like to feed them in buckets that are turned sideways, and that's about it. I still got the electric fence wire up because I take the Energizer in for the winter, but I leave the fence set up, and that way the animals still think it's on and they stay away from the hives. The horses can, and do, if they can, take a chunk out of a polystyrene hive. See that big chunk taken out? Normally I glue those chunks back on with a hot glue gun, but that chunk got too destroyed, so that one's useless. Here's another bite mark. You can very well see the bite mark. They just reached across and bit that. And I'd show you the ant tunneling, but that's inside of active hives right now, and I've already sealed those up. But that's from wax moths, and they'll do that to wood too. But you can actually see the sun through that, so that's useless until I fix it. It'll still work as a cover. It'll still be excellent insulation from heat and cold. You can't get that from the metal hive tops. In the old days, we had only the metal hive tops. I'm talking about the 80s, 1980s. But now they've come up with a lot of good stuff. And in the 90s, they came up with these really nice plastic tops, hard plastic, and they weren't very expensive. They were like $3 each. But now they want like $30 for them at like Man Lake, and they're indestructible from anything. They would work great, but I'm not paying that for them. Somebody should make hive tops and sell them. That would be some money. They were indestructible. There's the old-fashioned hive top. Stapling tin to the top of a board of plywood and rim, and then you have a lot of problems with getting your hands cut when you pick it up and stuff like that. That's the way we used to do it. But there's a lot of things we used to do we don't do anymore. For one, I'm going foundationless all the way. Been doing that for 12 to 15 years. And I'm not going to be using these deep brood boxes at all anymore. I love these mediums. I've always used just deeps and the unlimited brood nest. That's my method. All the room they want, rotate the boxes. When they leave one box, put it on top when it's empty, or move it away if there's too many of them. This is a swarm catcher. Right now I'm using it as a pollen feeder, but I'm out of pollen. I got to get some more. I mean, I'm not out. I just need to refill it. And you can see how healthy the little hives are even in the winter, because the mediums work great. They have no problem with them. And I like them better because they can draw them out quicker than they can a deep. And if they make a catawampus mistake or a catastrophic mistake, I can simply cut it out and attach it to pieces easier than I can a deep frame, which is really a problem. And the deep frame's breaking the extractor really bad, so not the frames, but the combs break off, and they don't so much in the mediums. And I do a lot of my beekeeping using a knife because I have small hive beetles, and I can't have too many extra combs that aren't useful, because the small hive beetles will nest in them. These are all the tops that I had that came from the die-off of the pesticides. His first spray was in 1999, and he killed a whole bunch of bees off from me, and I just said, that is going to be it. He won't do it again. So I got really bad into it again. Started purchasing a lot of stuff and got huge, and then, not huge, but got a lot of bees. And then he sprayed me again around 2012, and then again around 2017. Just continually, every now and then when you least expect it, he'll just start going nuts with the spray. Well, I guess I've said all I need to say. Happy coming spring.